All right, good evening. Welcome to another episode of the Pop-Up, coming to you live from the Black Media Matter studios right here in downtown Seattle. I am your host, the Big O. And man, we got a fantastic show on tap for you tonight. We're joined by Port Commission President Ryan Calkins. I'm talking about the Port of Seattle, y'all. That might be the only time tonight that you hear that long title come out because, you know, it's a good guy. We go way back. Ryan Calkins in the building. And my dude, Efrem Fesaha. Gosh, darn it. I am repping the gear, though.
You are, yeah.
We get a few points. And also, I've put my carbonated drink, non-alcoholic today, by the way, in my Boona cup. So we out here repping to the fullest. Efrem is the founder, CEO, and visionary behind Boona Coffee. And so, man, we're going to have a great conversation here tonight. Before we get to that, though, we got to get some love to our sponsors helping us keep the lights on down here. First up, We Rise Wines. I'm talking about We Rise Wines, located on 2nd Avenue, right across from the Moore Theater. Man, Jamila Conley and crew, they got something special on tap over there. Man, there's a lot of for us, by us wines from not only here in the Pacific Northwest, but internationally. And it don't just stop at the wine. The food is slapping. You know what I'm saying? Go over there to We Rise Wines. Also an event space over there. There's a lot of stuff happening. The best thing I can say is support the people who help support us. WeRiseWines.com. Right? And we got some of that We Rise back there in the green room. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it got tapped open tonight or not, but, you know, we'll see. Who else do we have over here? Who? Oh, yeah. Look. Oh, man. Our director forgot to put it in the notes, but I'm going to freestyle it. Man, a big shout out as well to the Washington bus. And Candidate Survivor is coming up. I think all the details are there on the overlay on the screen. This is kind of cool because all the candidates come together and, you get voted off the island. It's at Numos. It's a lot of challenges for the upcoming candidates. The whole idea is to get people involved and kind of see the candidates in a way that you might not usually see them. So they get up there, they ask them crazy questions, maybe do some kind of whatever. It's interesting, and it's family friendly, by the way. You got to throw that out there. It's Seattle, it's on Capitol Hill, it's candidates, but it is that kind of thing where it's actually pretty cool. We're happy to partner with the Washington bus for Candidate Survivor, so I'll be there. Luckily nobody here tonight's up for running for office, so we won't see nothing crazy there. All details are there on the screen. Okay, now let's see what he did put in here. Oh, I got some introductions. Let's see here. Our first introduction is for Efrem. Can we get that up here, sir? Oh, there he is. Look at that good-looking guy right there. Efrem Fesaha is the founder and CEO of Boona Coffee, a specialty coffee company with 4 brick-and-mortar locations across the greater Seattle area, plus 10 Kumi branded cafes inside of corporate offices. He started Boona Coffee in 2012, inspired by his desire to connect people in the Pacific Northwest with African coffee and traditions from Eritrea and Ethiopia. Efrem, welcome to the Black Media Matter studios.
It is a pleasure and an honor to be here with you all.
Yeah, no, it's a guy. People have seen you on Converge forever.
Well, that's what you guys do. You guys do a lot of, you guys support all these small businesses. We Rise Wine, which we do have their stuff for mimosas at the cafe too.
Yeah, I saw that.
Delicious. Their stuff is great.
I was down there
It was
shopping
great.
earlier.
Yeah.
All right. And next up here, we got my guy from way back, Ryan Calkins. We got that up there on the screen. There he goes. Ryan Calkins is Port of Seattle Commissioner President and Port Advisor at Pacific Northwest National Laboratory. It's over in Richland, huh? What you doing?
It
you
is,
doing with
although
some
we have an
nuclear
office here in
energy
Seattle.
or something?
Thank goodness, because that's a long commute to go to
Okay,
Tri-City.
all right. Yeah, I got Tri-City stories. Eric knows about that. We can go ahead and throw it back up there, Eric. He specializes in maritime energy innovation. Man, that's what's up. Sustainable fuels, that's important, and resilient supply chain optimization. Throughout his career, he's founded nonprofits like the Seattle Microfinance Organization and played a key role in launching the Maritime High School. Ryan, I'll say welcome back. You were with us 5 years ago, but this is your first time in this studio.
I love the new studios, yeah. And that bio is a lot of gobbledygook and words, but really it's about, I'm trying to figure out how to get people great jobs around here. So
Oh, yeah, we like
Maritime
that.
we think is a huge part of that, but absolutely. And yeah, I can't believe it's been 5 years since you and I sat down.
Yeah,
previously.
man, you've aged well, man. The port's treating you good. Me, on the other hand, I lost whatever little hair that I had. I've turned gray. I need to get into the port business.
Yeah, no, this is a toupee, Omar.
All right, so the way this show works is we throw out a few headlines, talk about it a little bit. Today, our headlines are a bit shorter because I wanted to leave some time and space here for conversation. So we'll jump right into that, Mr. Director. Man, first up, man, this is a really big deal. We've got an overlay here, and then also we got a bit of a video. Our guy, Deontay Damper, host of We Live in Color right here on Converge Media, was the Grand Marshal of the 2026 Pride Parade. Matter of fact, let's just give Deontay a hand right here. And what they see on the screen right there is I made it in that shot from the Seattle Times. It was so epic. There it is. Keep that up there for a second, Eric. It was so epic. Oh, man, I can't. He's there in the middle of the street. They said over 300,000 people were in attendance. I was right there. I'm rocking that next to my guy. Like, hey, Deontay's here. Ryan, you said that the port has been involved with the Pride Parade for some time now.
Yeah, 24 years. Back to 2002, we have an employee resource group called Port-Wide Pride that puts together a float, brings all together the employees who want to march in the parade. I've joined it half a dozen times. This last time I got to march with my daughter, my 10-year-old daughter, who wanted to go down, and it was incredible. It is such a great feeling, and it's got to be one of the biggest pride marches anywhere in the world. And you just feel this sense of joy as people really just get to love who they want to love.
Man, speaking of joy, we got a video clip here.
And we're out here celebrating Pride in all black fashion. We got Deontay as the Grand Marshal, man. We out here, he brought the whole black community with him, man. He's showing up, showing out. So we're out here celebrating, making sure we're uplifting the black LGBTQIA community.
Deontay Damper is the first black man, to serve as the Grand Marshal for Seattle. Too often we've been ignored, posted aside. This time we're standing up. He brought community with him, covering all bases from housing, from economic development, from everything touching black lives.
He's one of the unsung black queer people in Seattle who really lead this city, organize this city. Everyone knows him, they know his work, often not credited, not compensated, but day to night taking care of community. And I'm so happy for this acknowledgement today by Pride, Seattle Pride, and our entire city for this beautiful, beautiful man.
All right, man. It was so special there yesterday, and I said to be in the parade with Deontay. Ryan, you hit on it. There was a lot of love in the air. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Man, it was beautiful. So just getting to see Deontay get recognized like that, but then also seeing how he also pulled you into the mix as well and gave you your flowers as well, Big O. It was really touching. And honestly, even just driving down, coming down, there was cars that had been painted up, and the wish was just like, yo, don't rain on my, painted up truck. And so the day was just a beautiful day to kind of be out there and just celebrate. So, yeah, it was a great time. Great time.
Yeah, man. Big shout out, man, Deontay. Deontay, it was a recognition for him. But the kind of person that he is, this whole time since the announcement, and we actually surprised him here. Seattle Pride came here, and we told Deontay he was going to shoot like a PSA. But that's when they actually told him that he was going to be the Grand Marshal. And since then, all the way through yesterday, he's found ways to include other people into that spotlight, other groups, organizations, and everything else. The selfless person that he is, Deontay Damper. All right, moving along here. Oh, wow, we go from pride to business. Hopefully we have a prideful business we can talk about here. All right, it says, with cracks showing in Washington's economy, Governor Ferguson forms new council to look for fixes. According to an article published by KUOW and written by Jerry Cornfield and Jake Goldstein Street, Washington Governor Bob Ferguson has signed an executive order establishing a 26-member Governor's Economic Development Council to address emerging warning signs in the state's economy and draft a statewide development plan by next June. The creation of the council comes in response to slower job growth, tech layoffs, an above-average unemployment rate, and a looming 2027 budget deficit. The panel will meet quarterly to identify strategies for boosting jobs, lowering regulatory barriers, and marketing Washington to out-of-state businesses. Ferguson also noted that his upcoming 2027 budget proposal will avoid new taxes and instead focus on spending cuts, particularly targeting newer state programs. Efrem, you're a small business here in the state, and the best thing about you is you're a small business that continues to aspire to grow and get bigger. It sounds like this might be good news here, that the governor is recognizing that there's economic forces putting pressure on businesses in our state.
Yeah, and I think that that recognition is important, and I think that so many small businesses are struggling. I think post-pandemic, there was this expectation that it would just be all things coming back to normal, but true, reality is completely different. A lot of businesses are still struggling. Many have closed and are still navigating through these very challenging times. And so, for the governor to recognize that, bringing a large cohort of different experiences and backgrounds into a room to start discussing what needs to be done or how best to approach it, I think is super important. And so, I think there's several. I've gotten to see some of that list or whatnot, and I'm definitely hopeful by what comes out of it. But yeah, small businesses need some help right now. Many are struggling, and even honestly, even at this time right now, we're right now so many great things happening in our city, but there are still pockets that are not getting that same attention. And so, recognizing how do we support so many of these small businesses, because truly, when they do close, they close, and it is a traumatic experience for those business owners. They put their entire livelihoods into it. I put all my sweat into this thing, but that's just one of thousands that are in this city, and everyone is doing that. It's family-run businesses, and when these businesses go, it impacts not just that one individual, it impacts the whole community around them. And recognizing how much of a pillar small businesses are in our community, not only for the culture and the vibrancy of what our city looks like and feels like, but truly what it does for that entire ecosystem around that business as well. So yeah, anything to support, I'm for it. So it's great.
Right. And now, Ryan, you're over there at the port. It used to be an old saying that when the port sneezed, the whole economy catches a cold. You have your finger on the pulse over there, a greater insight than a lot of other people do. What do you think of Governor Ferguson's initiative here?
So far, so good. It looks like he's put together the right blend of businesses, public agencies, utilities, small, large, eastern and western Washington. We have agriculture, healthcare. Our executive director from the Port of Seattle is a part of it as well. So he'll be reporting on the impacts of trade, the impacts of the Iran war on in Washington State, we are one of the most trade-dependent states in the country. And so when international commerce is negatively impacted by Trump's tariffs or by the Iran war or by the next sort of black cloud over international trade, we feel it most here. And that's why I honestly think in our region, there are sectors already in recession. It's just kind of hidden by seasonality. We're in the middle of a strong tourist season, but the tech sector is starting to shed jobs associated with AI, and we're starting to see it in other professional services like legal and accounting services. And there is a gap now where folks who are graduating from high school and college into entry-level positions, those are the very positions that are most susceptible to being replaced by AI. And so now you've got this sort of canyon between you and that mid-level career job that you may not have access to. So I think this task force is going to have to take a hard look at how we're using technology to replace people, which is going to create huge disruptions in the economy, and recognize that maybe the notion that has been sort of around for a couple of generations that the pathway to success is a desk job, and instead rethink the role of blue-collar work in our society. That's an area where we at the port see huge potential for new careers, whether that's welding in shipyards as we reinvigorate our shipping and fishing fleet and Navy, or jobs to support the airport around aviation mechanics and the future fuel infrastructure. These jobs look healthy and secure, and it's hard to find the people to do them. Whereas we're seeing in other areas, there's this disconnect. There's lots of people, but no jobs for them. And so I think the governor needs to hear from these folks that we're in this need for significant workforce redevelopment and retraining. And so he put the right folks together. Is he going to listen to them? That's the open question for me.
Right. Representative or former state representative Jesse Johnson has a very similar message out there at Federal Way High School with their trade program there, and trying to get young people into the trades. It's like, hey, you know what? It's going to be a while, hopefully, before AI is going to build a house and swing a hammer or, plumbing or electrician and things like that. And somehow along the way, these have always been great jobs and honorable jobs, but somewhere along the way, they got dismissed, and even the trades left high school. When I was in high school, all the trades were there. You could take home ec, you could take auto shop. You'd leave high school with you could at least work in the neighborhood on the block or something. So it's good to see those things come back.
I think people's perception of what those jobs look like needs to be updated too, because one of my favorite expressions that I've heard recently is I've been touring a bunch of shipyards. I'm learning about this industry that is growing again. They refer to these jobs as new-collar jobs, not blue-collar jobs. And that distinction is, yeah, sure, you learn to weld or you learn to be a machinist or a plumber or a pipe fitter. But in fact, you're going to be doing the really technical stuff as well. You're going to be behind a computer setting up a plasma cutter or a plasma welder or a laser cutter. You need to know not only how to weld, but also how to run the computer that does that. So you'll do the really interesting work, and the computer will do the kind of drudgery. And so that notion, and you're going to make great living as a welder too, and you're going to have consistent work and a pension plan in ways that if you're going into accounting or legal profession, you may not have that kind of opportunity.
Yeah, I know. We were shooting a documentary on the new Rainier Beach High School from even before the groundbreaking until now. And what was interesting is in the very first installment, we met two young men who had just graduated, and they were in an internship program with the construction company. And we talked to them then, and they were both like, yeah, I just got to move out my mom's house. I want to be able to try to get a car. They just talked about these situations they're in. So now 4 years later, bumping into them, they both own a home. They got their cars. One of them just got married, getting ready to have a kid and everything else. And they're 4 years removed from hanging out on the South End being like, what am I going to do with my life? Yeah. And I think that young people understanding, like we said, that there's career paths out there. And some of the shine and the tarnish is kind of a little less shiny now in the tech space. it's not shy. Man, that used to be the thing back in the day. You know what I'm saying? We used to lose out on the guys that come around. Well, I'm a project manager at Microsoft. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, ooh, wow, he's at Microsoft. You know, now it's like, hey, I'm a welder on that building down the street. We're looking for security. Hey, look, we're going to take a quick break right now. When we come back, though, we're going to learn more about Boon, Boona Coffee. You're watching The Pop-Up.
Ole, 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 ole. Ole, ole. Ole, 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 ole. Ole, ole. Ole, ole, ole.
This summer, Metro connects the world.
Black women in Washington face more than twice the risk of syphilis in 2024, but cases are falling as we learn the facts and look out for ourselves. Yet 1 in 10 pregnant cases were among Black women, but more than half of potential congenital cases were prevented with early care. Early testing makes a difference. Get tested and protect yourself. Protect your child. Protect the community.
Discover the raw, essential story of Northwest modernism through the Seattle Art Museum's Beyond Mysticism. This exhibition features over 150 pieces celebrating the region's natural beauty and urban life. Get your tickets today at seattleartmuseum.org. We'll see you there.
Welcome to Hell's Kitchen, Broadway's hit musical from Alicia Keys. It's raw, relatable, and refreshingly fun. Hell's Kitchen, playing the Paramount Theater July 21st through 26th.
All right, welcome back to the Pop-Up. I'm your host, the Big O. We're coming to you live from the Black Media Matter studios here in downtown Seattle. And yeah, you can see, I don't know, this is the Boon Boona logo right here. And the best thing is I went and bought this T-shirt because we believe in supporting Black business. You know what I'm saying? I could have asked bro to bring me one. He would have brought me one. But we wanted to come and be supportive of the business. Efrem, again, welcome, man.
Great to be here, honestly. Yeah, it's such a privilege. It's an honor. Thank you.
Yeah, and so the photo montage there, I'm talking about a lot of those pictures, Besa Gordon, we did so many things on Back to Besa with Boon Boona. So we're telling people we kind of got a history together, right?
We definitely have a history together. Honestly, the support that you guys have provided in amplifying our business has definitely been helpful to get the story out about what we're doing. And not only is it for the community, but honestly, even selfishly for myself. You know, sometimes you're just so busy on those opening days to, you don't take the time out to like capture the moment. You're like trying to figure out, oh, I forgot to bring cash for the register, or, just the whole list of things that you need to do. But I'm so grateful that you guys have always taken the time out to celebrate with us on these different milestones that we've been on. And, we're just grateful.
Yeah, and speaking of that, we got a few receipts.
Yeah.
we were at the University of Washington.
That's right.
Right?
Yep. 5-year anniversary.
And man, that fire, it was so cold, bro.
It was cold.
Man, it was so cold. And we didn't have specialty mics then, and so we had to do the interview outside. Oh, it was so cold.
Yeah, we were freezing.
And
I still remember that.
You taught Besa how to roast.
That's right.
And
the traditional way.
Traditional
from
coffee.
East Africa, yep.
And the most recent thing here, which we have a video of, was the grand opening at Overlook Walk.
Hey friends, Besa Gordon here. We are at the grand opening of Boon Boona on the waterfront, child. We are up here on Overlook Walk, and guess what? Currently, we are 1 hour from the ribbon cutting. Your girl already has her matcha. It's nice and rainy outside because, we got to get those Seattle vibes right? So look, we're going to tap in with our buddy Efrem. We're going to tap in with some other people that are here. We got some good music already going on because, my boy Lace Cadence already got it laced up. But in the meantime, we're going to get into the ribbon cutting.
So today we're welcoming Boona Coffee to Overlook Walk at Waterfront Park. This is a beautiful, stunning spot to take in the views of the Salish Sea, but it's also a space to gather, to create a place for connection, to community, of a small business to welcome people here to this beautiful place in Seattle.
You walk into any experience in Boona, you can sense the sense of belonging, the community that's made. It's very powerful. The impact that this business can have on this region is profound. And so to be here to celebrate a momentous occasion, I wouldn't miss it.
I know most of us come here to enjoy the aroma, the taste, the texture, and this delicious coffee by Boona. I just want to say thank you. Thank you, Efrem, for giving me this opportunity to share my work in this space and all your coffee spaces around the city.
So here we are. The last piece of the puzzle is the Overlook Cafe.
And I'm so happy that all the visitors, when they come to Seattle, they're going to see Boona, the first entrance as they come into our city. And I think that is the most important.
But you know what? With Boona, it's not just a connection, it's a destination.
Hey, first and foremost, I want to say this. The thing that I love most about Efrem is that he understands the power of we. When you walk into a Boona experience, you know the sense of belonging that you feel. It's community. Our world is desiring that. So Efrem, thank you for leading the way, my brother. Thank you for showing what a small business can be and should be in community. We all get to experience and benefit from it. And now we have a lighthouse on a hill for anybody who comes to this region to know what community actually looks like. It's grounded, it's real. You know, it's not fabricated, and it was built from principles way back when that are still fundamental to what you're experiencing here. Again, you look around, this is community. People from all walks of life can come here and feel welcome, feel seen, feel invited to a space that's built for them. And that's what community needs. That's what our world needs. It's just love, and you can feel it when you walk into space.
When you signal who belongs in public space, culture, heritage, community, this is a grand reflection of that. So welcome to Overlook Walk. Welcome, Boona Coffee, to this beautiful space. Come back. Remind people to come back again and again. Public spaces are yours. And this is a reminder that we all belong here. And this sets the stage for more welcome into the new year.
Part of the process for the selection was to really think about a small local business who really brings equity and connection to local community. They really bring that spirit of a beautiful product and welcome through coffee and that connection, and the nature of how we can make sure that people see themselves here at the park.
Boona was actually our first investment as an organization. And so to see the progress and the process to get to this point, it's been very inspirational.
You know, my family arrived here in '88, and one of the first places that we went to was right here, to Pike Place, to the waterfront. It was 22 years after that I got to go back to where we came from, which is Eritrea, and get to experience the coffee culture there in a different way. And that experience inspired me to start this journey within Boona. So here we are now at the place. So here we are now at the place where 40 years ago, I first got to visit as an immigrant. Honestly, this is probably a Seattle kid's wildest dreams coming to fruition. And I'm just so grateful. The throughput through all of this, obviously, is that this isn't a this isn't an Efrem thing. This is a community of support. This is a community of people who have opened the door for a small business like myself. And I really just want to take a moment to share my gratitude, because this isn't just about me, I swear. This is really about you all. You all are the ones that are supporting us get through all of these hard, struggling times and opening up all of these doors for us. Our responsibility is to do what you all have done to me and provide an opportunity, to provide a platform for other small businesses to be able to succeed, to be able to get a spotlight and do my part, as you guys have done your part for me. It's now time for my job to reciprocate that to my community, and that's what responsibility I take on by being here as well. I just want to tell you how grateful I am for supporting this crazy kid with this dream and seeing it to fruition here.
Oh,
I just got a clap. What are you doing? Yes.
Thank you.
So let me
Brother,
ask
what
you
you trying
something.
to do? Make me cry, man?
What I
My
was going to
goodness.
say is that
There you go.
I know we sent this to you, and I know you saw it before, but like most times people, they're looking at 5 different things. I seen you watching this, and it was almost like you were watching it for the first time.
Yeah.
Maybe here in total silence
Yeah.
in the studio. You know, take us back to that day.
Yeah, I mean, I still feel those same emotions, honestly, and seeing it, it's wild because, yeah, at that moment I was trying to keep my composure, which I failed at, just because I was just so emotionally, like, just really full, you know, just so excited and grateful for that opportunity. And I feel the same way every time I see it. But that's what this journey has done. And even on the hardest of days, you know, you still think about like where you're at, how you've gotten to this point. And I'm not doing it by myself. I've got tons of support, like this space right here. Yeah, it just takes me to a place of gratitude. That's all I could say. And I'm a lucky guy. I'm a lucky guy.
Let me ask you something, man.
Yes, sir.
You know, there was a few people in that video that kind of had to be there. Joy represented like the waterfront.
She's amazing.
It's a few, but it was a lot of other people, business owners, council members, elected officials. You're a likable dude. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and then a few years ago, didn't you won like small business of the year?
Yeah.
I remember that award. I remember we talked about that.
Yeah.
But what's the secret? Because there's a aura, there's a spirit, there's an energy that moves around you that is like, I mean, you're just a likability magnet, man. I'm sure you got bad days like everybody else, like me and Ryan. But you know, I mean, it's when your name, when people mention your name or your business across this city, it's hard not to do it with a smile.
Yeah, well, I'm grateful. I mean, honestly, I think it starts from why I even took this journey, right? Like, I mean, it comes from, you know, historically, you know, one, Ethiopia is the birthplace of coffee. That logo, you know, on your shirt there, it's actually not just Boon Boona. That is how we depict ourselves in East Africa. So if you go into a church, you'll see angels looking like that. Angels that have a fro. You'll see a king or queen's journey. They look like that. When it comes to the ceremony and the traditions around it as well, like even the name alone, Boon or Boona, that's just how we say coffee. And so it's me just putting a little bit of like telling our story. So I feel fortunate to be able to tell that story. And especially in a city like Seattle, you know, the capital of coffee, to tell the origin story. Because so many times the history of coffee is not shared. And so a lot of times it's like, oh, it came out of Italy with an espresso machine, or, you know, Turkey with, you know, the Turkish style coffee. No. It started with a jebana, a clay pot out of Ethiopia. That's where it started. It then spread across the region and got popular. The word coffee itself comes from a region in Ethiopia called Kaffa. That's where we get the word from. And so Boon Boona coffee is just coffee, but in 3 different languages, paying its respect. So when I get to start my journey, it starts in that place of this history. And then when it continues on into where we source and how we source is African coffee producers all throughout the continent. And that's on the east side, but also on the west, south. We get coffee from Cameroon even now. And so when I get to do that, you know, once again, I mean, I'm going to be happy. What's there not to be happy about? And then honestly, and then the cafe space, that part of it, because there's the origin, there's the kind of the global side, right? But then the local side, it's a cultural experience. So we grow up doing a full ceremony. When we have coffee, it's 3 hours, and we are socializing. And we'll have it on our hard days, we'll have it on our great days. So it'll be a celebration, it'll be a holiday, we'll be doing it and we'll celebrate, but we'll be mourning a loss in our community, and we'll have it around, you know, everybody that's there mourning. And it becomes a way to kind of navigate through that mourning process. And so it's a big part of our culture. So when I get to showcase that, I have nothing else to do but to be excited and grateful to be able to showcase it. So it's all these things. And then in our cafes, really the intention is to provide a space for our community to hang out, to showcase their stuff, but, you know, honestly, build together, just like we do when we are around that coffee ceremony, to do the same inside of the cafe. And so most of our guests are staying there for, you know, at least 2 hours. We love it. We want folks to hang out in our cafes. And so it's all those things. So yeah, then once again, I'm a happy guy doing the thing that I love. It doesn't get, it's pretty simple.
I'll say this, is that one, we like to say around here, you know, support black business, black, things like that. You're taking it to a whole nother level because you're bringing it in from the continent, through the port.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right? Like from all over Africa, which is dope.
Yeah.
Like that's incredible. But another question is, when you go back, like coffee, the thought of coffee in Seattle is evolving now, you know, especially like around Starbucks and things like that. But when you started Boona, you know, Starbucks still is king, you know, locations, all these kind of things. But what made you think? What gave you the courage? What was the catalyst to say, like, you know what, even though these guys are everywhere, maybe Telly's is still around and all these other things, there's a place for me here. There's a place for us. What was that impetus to be like, we're going to move forward with this business?
Man, I felt like, honestly, when I worked on that plan, I said, this needs to be done. It's a responsibility. I don't know if it'll succeed or not, but I've got to do it. If I'm going to do it, I've got to do it the right way. I've got to do it the way that is going to make an impact. Obviously a small one. You know, we're super small, but it's got to make an impact. It's got to be done the right way. And I tried funneling all these things, you know, like sourcing, intentionality of all these things from origin to cafes into my pitches at the start. And this is 2011. And yeah, it was all rejections, you know, because exactly what you said. Who cares? Who cares about Africa and the history of coffee? Just give me my espresso, get me out of here. I said, nah, that's not how we're gonna do it. That's not what I plan on doing. So I took those rejections, and in 2012, I incorporated it, and I just reached out to family in Ethiopia to source green coffee. I brought that back here, started playing with it at home, roasting it the traditional way, and my family started saying, Efrem, I prefer your coffee than the stuff that I'm getting. And that became the start of it. And honestly, I would pitch a tent, Volunteer Park. I'd pitch a tent in Atlanta's hot sun in the summertime at a festival, and just sell green coffee out of the trunk of my car, just moving around all of King County. And that was the start of it. And that was the case for 7 years, because I believed in it that much. Now, I was working my daytime job, but my heart was fully in it. And over those 7 years, I got to refine that idea that I had first pitched, but it was still pretty much that. And so when I did open up my first brick and mortar location in Renton, it was really, good luck, prove it. And honestly, that first month, it was just kind of picking up. On the weekends, I remember just seeing the gathering, just the people that came out, the community that came out to support. I was like, maybe there's something here. I remember actually I had my back, I was washing dishes, and I just turned around and just looked at the folks inside the Renton Cafe, and I was like, wow, there's something here. And maybe I am going to be able to prove that, you know, coffee can be done different. And that was the start of it, honestly. So I don't know. And to an extent, I still try proving that people care about where their coffee comes from and how it's done, and to be more intentional about how they buy their coffee, because truly it's a very exploitive industry. So if it can be done right, you know, and you could be intentional about the thing that you're consuming every day, might as well make it good, you know, and see how much, it'll have much more ripple effect. And I think that maybe that's probably what's happening right now. Maybe it's a little bit of rumbling because people are being more intentional about where they get their coffee. So very grateful to be able to prove it.
The ripple is happening. Do you have any questions?
I've never seen that video before, but one of the things that stood out to me is your immigrant story.
Yeah.
How inspiring that is. And in fact, in some ways, I almost don't think it's exceptional. It's more like it is the secret ingredient that we have in this region, that for a long time we have been a magnet for folks coming to the United States. There's an opportunity here. There's an entrepreneurial spirit. There's an acceptance regardless of where you come from. It is my family story 3 generations back, you know, Irish, experiencing economic malaise in Ireland, looking for a place to put down roots. And at a time when there's so much anti-immigrant rhetoric coming out of the federal government, coming out of the right in the United States, we have to reinforce the message that that is in fact not just the secret of success for Seattle, but for the entire country. Yeah. And Boona is the next example of an amazing thing that we are lucky to have a strong migrant population here in Washington. But I hope that this generation tunes out that hateful rhetoric out of DC in particular, out of the current president and his party, and remembers what we're really about. And so that immigrant experience is I hope it's built into the fabric of our country, and I hope we never lose that.
Powerful, right?
Yeah, man. You know, so a few things. One, the story is dope, and me and Eric looked at each other because when you said that you were selling coffee out the back of the trunk, we used to sell CDs out the back of the trunk. So right. You know what I'm saying? We understand. We understand. Matter of fact, we still sell Converge T-shirts out the back. You know what I'm saying? We see it around town. You know, but I mean, it's really dope. And people. I like to ask people those kind of stories because sometimes people be like one step away from quitting, and they think that it's like no one's ever had that burden like them, or you know, or they're just one minute away from giving up on themselves or their dreams or something, and then when they hear how somebody else, you know, clawed their way up and they're still clawing,
yeah,
it's important for them to hear. One last thing, we're gonna come back and matter of fact, here's what we're gonna do. Is we're gonna take a break. And then we're going to talk about the port over here. And then after that, we got one more break because I got some more questions of how people can get up with Boon Boona. Does that sound good?
Sounds great.
All right. Yeah. You going to be good after the break, Ryan?
For sure.
Okay. All right. You're watching the pop-up.
Welcome to Hell's Kitchen, Broadway's hit musical from Alicia Keys.
Every song, If I Ain't Got You and Paris State of Mind, it's all in the show.
Meet Allie, a 17-year-old girl full of fire. Meet the musical mentor who changes her life and her family, who lifts her up. With exhilarating choreography, Hell's Kitchen is all about finding yourself, your purpose, and the people who inspire you. Hell's Kitchen, playing the Paramount Theater July 21st through 26th.
This summer, Metro connects the world.
Real ones show up for each other. In the barbershop, at home, in the group chat, we check in. Not just you good, but really good.
Because the health of your friends and family matter, and they need you to check in. Healthy men keep each other safe.
And real ones check in on the ones we love. Because when we tap in, we stay healthy together.
All right, welcome back to the pop-up, coming to you live from the Black Media Matters studios here in downtown Seattle. I am the Big O, and we have a great show going on, man. We were just talking to Efrem from Boona Coffee, and I mean, the story's always inspiring. He's a big smile, man. You got a great smile.
I appreciate it, brother.
All right, and now Ryan Calkins, man. Like I said, it's been 5 years, bro.
Indeed.
I mean, man, you've been hiding. You got.
No, we've been busy.
Okay.
You've forgotten to invite me. That's all.
Well, you see, we fixed that. You're very welcome here. You know, hang out as much as you want. Before we go into the way back machine, though, maybe you can tell people what your actual. I read a kind of a description. But what is it that you do with the port?
So, Port of Seattle, we run the airport and the seaport. So if you've gone through SEA recently to catch a flight somewhere, we've been working really hard down at the airport to make sure we can accommodate increasing numbers year in and year out of passengers who want to come to our region and folks from here who want to take vacations, go see relatives, do all this stuff. So tons of building out there. On the seaport, we're kind of in this generational turnover of our facilities. We do the fishing fleet, the cruise ships, the cargo, and a little bit of, we've got 17 parks around the city as well that we maintain. So it's a big institution. As a commissioner, our job is to kind of set the long-term direction, work with the executive director to make sure the day-to-day stuff is in order. And then outside of that, I spend all my time thinking about the inflection that our economy is in right now. We spent 100 years developing a fossil fuel economy, and now we got to transition to the new energy economy. And that's going to be disruptive and hard, but it's also this incredible opportunity for growth. And so that's what I do outside of the port. I work on the question of that new energy transition. And I think Seattle is incredibly well positioned to take advantage of that. I like to say, if Houston is the center of the fossil economy, Seattle should be the center of the new energy economy.
Wow. So, we can move like that, huh?
I think we can. We've got the brain power. We've got the political motivation. We care about the earth in a way that you really need to understand. We got to make this transition to sustainable energy sources, and people around here care about it.
Mm-hmm. Now, the port, I think, people get the airport. A lot of people fly. They know what an airport is. The seaport is a big deal. It's under the radar, though, for most people. And people, if you actually think about it, anybody who studied history, even if you failed, it's okay. Some of the biggest wars on earth, in the history of mankind, have been fought over the control of ports. And that's really the influx, the import and the export of goods. It's a huge driver of economies is the port.
Yeah, I like to describe the port. If you think of an hourglass where you've got this big wide section at the bottom, big wide section at the top, everything has to go through that little bottleneck in the middle, right? That's the port. Mm-hmm. So any Amazon box that arrives on your doorstep, any food you eat likely will have passed through a port facility at some point. And so making sure that ports are efficient and operate well is critical to our economy because they are a choke point if we mess things up. And we saw that right after COVID when everybody was buying lots of stuff because we couldn't go out and spend money on services. We were all buying new furniture and, things that we could have in our homes, right? And we had an enormous backlog at the ports because we couldn't manage that surge. And so we were reminded how critical seaports are to our economy, but in particular our region, we feel it in three ways. It's not only like everybody experiences in the goods economy, but also because we are so intrinsically tied to the port here in Seattle, it means much of the economic activity, direct economic. We have 60,000 people who work in and around the port, and these are good paying jobs. So think about the ripple effect of those 60,000 people, longshore workers and ship's captains and naval architects and marine biologists, all those folks making good money, then go out and they buy coffee at Boona or shop at a clothing store. That ripple effect is enormous. And so we work really hard at the Port of Seattle to make sure that this long maritime heritage that we have is just the first chapter, that we will continue to be a maritime city because we think it is foundational to our economy.
I'm happy to hear that, to be honest with you. Now, what we want to do is we want to get in the Wayback Machine.
Yeah.
And this was a really good interview. And it was a really good interview because this was, not too long after the murder of George Floyd. I think it was less than a year after. and a lot of people. And at the time, you were running for office, right? Running for re-election. And people were coming on to, at that time, the morning update show, and it was just all these platitudes of like, yeah, we love black people and inclusion and this and that, it's all this blue sky. And to be honest with you, we got fed up. And I was like, oh, okay, so we got the port commissioner coming, and I wonder what he's going to tell me about how, DEI or something like that. Anyways, we'll play the clip right here, Eric.
All right. So let me put the formalities to the side. Welcome. Glad to have you here and everything else. I'm going to just be very honest with you, Commissioner, and very sincere. I'm tired of politicians and aspiring politicians, because I'm black, coming on this show and using this DEI word soup of diversity and equity and inclusion and everything else, and they never get to dollars and cents and strategy and anything else. So I'm real with you right now. If you're not prepared to talk real information about this port, real dollars, real cents, total tonnage, import, export, we might as well wrap this up early and go to commercial break.
I'm ready to go. It was really refreshing to hear that we get to talk about the port itself, and I don't have to come on with a bunch of prepared talking points that are supposed to make you feel good, but instead we can talk about what a huge, important entity this is for the public. This is a key publicly owned asset for our region, and it doesn't matter where you're coming from. It's really important for all of us, and so I'm excited to talk about the port.
All right. Well, we're going to put you up to it because, like I said,
Good.
Our audience wants to be informed and educated and not hit with all this word soup of whatever and smoke screen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're elected. We want to hold you accountable.
Good.
First of all, what's in dollars and cents? How much business? I know COVID impacted some things clearly, and maybe in a good way, maybe in a bad way. Man, how much money does this port generate?
So if you think about it in terms of our budget, we're about a $2 billion a year budget. So $1 billion goes to operations, running the existing facilities, about $1 billion for capital budget, which is what are we building or refurbishing each year? And it's really important to think about it that way because, a capital budget, that's going to vacillate in certain times. But right now we're at a real inflection point for the port where we've got a lot of facilities that are 50, 60 years old. They need to be invested in, and we've chosen to invest. That means jobs in construction. It means new opportunities for represented work, union work at our facilities. And I think it's important for folks to know what the port is. It is a publicly owned agency established in 1911. There's 5 elected officials, 5 of us port commissioners elected by all the people in King County.
All right. Five years ago, Ryan, and you see I was coming in hot.
Indeed. I'd forgotten that.
I said, it don't matter who it is that's coming in this studio next, man. They going to hear from me. and it was great, and it was refreshing, and you came very, very prepared. And our audience actually got an informed conversation about the port and what was going on. So this was 5 years ago right there. You tell me now from then to now, what are some of the key changes that you've seen at the port?
Well, we have continued to invest in the refurbishment that I mentioned in the clip 5 years ago. And so if you've been to the airport recently, you've seen the new C concourse expansion. At the time, the North Satellite was under construction. Now it's fully open and people are using it. We're now in the planning phase for the new South Satellite refurbishment. So much like we treated the North Satellite, closed half of it, rebuilt that section, closed the other half, rebuilt that section. We're going to do a similar approach for the South Satellite. We opened the International Arrivals Facility. Over the course of the last 5 years, we've spent roughly $1 billion a year in capital construction. And like I said in the clip, that is literally hundreds, millions of labor hours per year, represented labor, carpenters, electricians, glazers doing the windows, you name it, the skilled trades have poured millions of hours into that gorgeous facility. Now we're going into this next phase where we have to figure out, right now we have about 54 million people who go through the airport every year. We got to figure out how to accommodate 67, 68, maybe 70 million people. We aren't going to build a new runway. We've got 3 runways. That's all we're ever going to have. So we have to figure out how to create in that space a really efficient use to move as many people through there as possible so that all of us, when we want to travel, aren't dealing with a constrained space that drives ticket prices up. So that is our public commitment to accommodate that public demand. And on the waterfront, in that same 5-year period, we have completed a major project at Terminal 5 to be able to accommodate the largest ships that ply the oceans, and at the same time enacted a series of sustainability initiatives that have significantly reduced the amount of local air and water pollution for our region. We've initiated a Superfund cleanup on the Duwamish River with another underway soon. And what we think is the next big thing in our region is the need for reinvigoration of the fleets out on the ocean will mean that we're going to bring shipyard work to the central Puget Sound and Seattle in particular. So I'm spending a lot of time right now figuring out how we can grow the workforce, grow the businesses to be able to build the ships here that we need for the future of the maritime industry.
Wow, that would be great to build the ships here.
Yeah.
To like bring that back to
Literally
this area.
right behind where we are right now my belief is we should be building some of the world's most advanced vessels.
Yeah, and that can happen.
It can. We've got the know-how. We've got the skilled labor. What I like to say is we have all the ingredients to bake a cake. Now we just got to bake that cake.
All right. So real quick, we're gonna see. We're gonna do a test here.
All right.
Of the last 5 years. All right, Efrem.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Are your coffee beans that you're supporting black business now, getting these beans from Africa, man?
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? These
Yes,
beans
sir.
getting through the port efficiently.
They are, yeah, they are. They have been. The tariff part is pretty tough. that part is tough. Honestly, that's really impacted the coffee industry as a whole. But yeah, we're getting our coffee beans. We're getting our coffee beans.
All
Yeah,
right. We got to put it in a practical level here
Yeah,
for our audience.
Thanks, Ryan.
We'll keep working at it for sure.
Yeah, I think that if people, when we talked, one of the biggest things we got so much feedback because the conversation that me and you had was like what an economic driver the port itself, and then jobs at the port, and then also businesses being able to import like Boon Boona, and also exporters. And the conversation community was like, wow, this port is here. How can we take advantage of the port? Like, there's so many people who don't realize like what a powerful thing the seaport, of course the airport, but the seaport is. And I mean, it's so much economic opportunity. It's part and parcel of your business at Boon Boona.
I mean, without the coffee, we don't exist. So, yeah, I mean, it's super important. So, yeah, the timely arrival and the movement, we saw it during the pandemic. Simple things, like things that you don't even think about, like the containers, the lack of containers, empty containers for us at origin. So, like in Ethiopia, having an empty container so that we can move the actual coffee was actually a big challenge in itself. So you run into different things, but
your whole business model, this is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You were able to create a business model and created it at a price that's a bit different than if you wanted to open this business in Denver. You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
Right.
100%.
And so
That's a great point.
exactly. You're able to bring in authentic goods from around the world right here and land them in Seattle, and to be able to sell these goods here in Seattle. I always just want to be able to continue to plant seeds in our community members' minds about opportunity that's here and prevalent right here at the port. And also what Ryan talked about, there's that, of course, the entrepreneurial route, but there's so many opportunities around that. I wanted you to continue to talk about, maybe you could touch on opportunities that you see in the port, but then also I know that you said it's important the work that you do outside of the port.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things, when you work for a big public agency like the port, $1 billion can have an enormous impact on the community, but there's a sort of inertia to spend the money in the ways you've always spent it, which means it's going to go to large firms, large contractors. We've done it all that way, so we'll just keep doing it that way. And in 2018, when I first got started at the port, one of the first votes I took was on this initiative to try to figure out how we could make sure that the contractors that we hired, the workers at our facilities, were representative of our community and not just, we've always worked with them. And so first thing we had to do was measure it really well. What does our contractor base look like? What is available to us? And we set ourselves a target to increase, it's literally called diversity in contracting. How do we make sure that we are creating a contractor pool that's representative? So pretty quickly we learned that it is actually hard to contract diverse businesses because not all of them have had the opportunity to scale in such a way that they could do the work that is, the sort of large scale work that's necessary at the port. So we went back a step and said, we need to make sure that those folks have access to navigation services so they can figure out how to do government contracting, which is different than private contracting. So it's been an 8-year journey to really understand all the pieces that need to be in place to achieve those goals. We met our initial targets. We've now raised the bar for ourselves to say we want to increase the percentage of workers and contractors that we hire to be representative of our community. But going back to that question, my life outside of the port, the tie-in to all of this is the only constant in business is change, right? I'm sure, Efrem, you know that more than anything. And I feel like my job as a commissioner at the Port of Seattle is to try to see around the corner. Not what's happening tomorrow or next month or even next quarter, but what should we anticipate economically as a region 5-10 years from now? What do we need to be doing as an institution so that we're not caught off guard by a major change or a major disruption in the economy? And for me, what is really clear to me is that the way we use energy today isn't sustainable, and we've got to figure out a different direction. And the folks who prepare for that now have that kind of prescient sense of where we need to be 5 years from now are going to have a huge business advantage over those that wait and try to be the last to adapt to it. So, in our case, we talk a lot about how do we incorporate more renewables into our economy, solar and wind, geothermal, hydro. That economy, it's going to take a while to get there, but when it does, it's like found money because once you've got a solar panel in place, the sun is powering that thing. You're not paying for that extra kilowatt of power like you have to if you're putting gas into your tank. And so it becomes this almost perpetual motion machine for the economy. And we at the port want to drive that transition to that for our local economy.
Yeah, man, it's good to find out that the port is so forward thinking. Like any business organization should be, but that we know that's oftentimes not the case, especially when it comes to government. And so these are really refreshing things to hear. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we got a question or two, and we're going to wrap up. I appreciate you guys. You see, I told you we went overtime. I cut out all the headlines. It's 2 headlines. We usually got 5. I was like, no, it's going to be a good discussion here. I appreciate you guys hanging with me for a few more minutes.
Bet. Yeah, come on.
We'll be right back. You're watching The Pop-Up.
Welcome to Hell's Kitchen, Broadway's hit musical from Alicia Keys.
Every song, If I Ain't Got You and Paris State of Mind, it's all in the show.
Meet Allie, a 17-year-old girl full of fire. Meet the musical mentor who changes her life and her family, who lifts her up. With exhilarating choreography, Hell's Kitchen is all about finding yourself, your purpose, and the people who inspire you. Hell's Kitchen, playing the Paramount Theater July 21st through 26th.
Ole, 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 ole. Ole, ole. Ole, 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 ole. Ole, ole. Ole, ole, ole.
This summer, Metro connects the world.
Real ones show up for each other. In the barbershop, at home, in the group chat, we check in. Not just you good, but really good.
Because the health of your friends and family matter, and they need you to check in. Healthy men keep each other safe.
And real ones check in on the ones we love. Because when we tap in, we stay healthy together.
All right, welcome back to the pop-up, coming to you live from the Black Media Matter studios. And man, we're going into overtime tonight. That's how good the conversation is with our guests, Efrem Fesaha and Ryan Calkins. Two big bosses in here. I know you're gonna deflect. You're gonna be like, no. We're just, you know what I'm saying? It's really great to have both of you guys in here. And man, I got so many more questions, but I'm gonna just bring them back down here to one. Well, good, because the best thing is, I know that we can always get you back here, right?
Yeah.
Anytime.
All right. So question here, and we'll start. It's the same question for both of you guys. We'll start with you, Efrem. As the epicenter of many industries, including cruises and coffee, what makes the Emerald City so special?
Wow. Well, I think that starts a long time ago. So I mean, really, the fact that Emerald City is considered the capital of coffee, and I think that history is known worldwide. But I don't think that the history of the origin of where coffee comes from is known worldwide. And so most of the time, a majority of the time, people are surprised by just the introduction into it. And I think that that's a really exciting thing to do, to be able to now put some historical background as to where coffee comes from in the capital city of coffee. And I think that those two converging here is a beautiful thing. So more of it.
Yeah, and I would say that the Emerald City has been fertile ground for your origin story of coffee. You know what I'm saying? Like, would Boon Boona work in other places? We hope so, but we knew Boon Boona would actually work here. It was a fertile ground, the Emerald City, for your story.
You just stole my answer. I can't believe it, Omar. I literally, I'm sitting over here thinking to myself, but I've thought a lot of, like, why do we have so many companies that start small here and then become world scale companies? And so I grew up in a religious household, and does anybody know the parable of the sower?
Yeah.
So the idea is, you wouldn't throw, if you've got a handful of seed, you're not going to throw it on rocky or sandy soil. You're going to throw it on fertile soil. And so what is that? I think oftentimes when leaders talk about our economy and what makes it special, they think about the seeds themselves, these great business ideas. But in fact, it is the fertile soil. It's exactly what you just said. And what is the fertile soil? In my mind, it is that collectively we have created, it is the workers who Efrem's able to hire, who he can walk away from a store and know that it's going to be taken care of, because we got these people who care deeply about the sense of work. It is, it is our union culture around here, which is really strong. It is the culture of service and respect that, and generally speaking, a well-educated workforce in the areas that we need. And so no great idea is going to succeed if you don't have those folks. And so it's that fertile soil that I think really makes us special. It's why we have so much success here for entrepreneurs.
Nah, man, I would agree. And it's something, and it's tough for us. We're a business. We're not a nonprofit. Please support us. Go to whereweconverge.com, click donate.
Buy some merch.
And to tell you something, that in a city, in a municipality that has 50,000 black people, right, and whatever the number is in the county, is that by the numbers, Converge shouldn't be here. Houston definitely, Chicago, other cities, everything else. But it is that fertile ground here that in this city, that Converge continues to be able to grow. And I'll let you guys know something here that you might not be aware of. Converge is one of the few ethnic media platforms in America that's consumed by the mainstream. And that's that fertile ground there, right? We got our product, we make our thing, but we make it in a city where a city appreciates, the mainstream appreciates what we do here. So we're one of the few in America, and that's why I throw another one out here. Our biggest annual advertiser is the Pacific Northwest Ballet.
Wow.
Because, and it's not because, I just want to buy black, it's because they know it's return on investment. They're buy with Converge. They are hitting the black community. We have a huge LGBTQIA following, and the mainstream is on us. So they see value in that, right? Because it's like you buy one thing, you get three things. And I just put that back into what we're saying, is that's the fertile ground that we're in, is that Converge Media can sit here in the city of Seattle, and year after year, we be pulling it out the hat. We ain't all, you know what I'm saying? But year after year, we can continue to grow in this market because of this fertile ground that's here that you spoke of. Yeah. All right, man, we're going to let you guys get out of here. But before we do, we'll give you a final message here, or whether how people can get up with Boon Boona, or how people can catch up with the port. Okay, we're starting with Ryan here. Where's Ryan's camera? The teleprompter there? All right, you look right into that camera,
so
Ryan.
If you're interested in learning more about the Port of Seattle, you can absolutely go to portseattle.org, our website, where if you go to the careers page, if you're interested in working with us, I would highlight in particular a great way to get started working at the port is through our paid internship program. We have high school up through postgraduate opportunities for folks to come, and you can imagine the breadth of things that happen at the port. There are jobs in every field, from maintenance to engineering to legal to communications, pretty much everything under the sun at the airport and the seaport. So check that out. But I would also say we have an extraordinary social media team, so follow the social media accounts in particular, the airport account, Fly SEA. Excellent content. It'll keep you entertained. Repost, do all the stuff on it. But it's a great way to track what we're doing and to learn some of the initiatives that might support your community too. We have large grant programs for economic development, tourism, ecology. So check that out as well if you're a small organization interested in some support for a community building opportunity. And the other thing I would say is don't hesitate to reach out to me directly. You can find me on the website under the commission page, or just email me at calkins.r@portseattle.org. I read all my emails, so if you send me a note, I will absolutely read it and I'll get back to you.
I believe you. 100%. Efrem, that's your camera right here.
All right. Well, no. Boon Boona Coffee. So online, boonboonacoffee.com. But then visit our 5 cafes throughout the King County, Renton, Capitol Hill, U District, if you're in the east side in Redmond and on Microsoft's campus, and then our most recent location here at the waterfront here in Seattle at Overlook Walk, and look forward to having you in. Yeah.
That's right. Started out the trunk, now we here.
Now we
here. Out the trunk, now we here. All right, Ryan. Efrem, thank you so much for joining us tonight on the Pop-Up.
I appreciate it.
What a pleasure.
All right, everybody. I got to give a big shout out to our producer, Mead Gill, and especially to our live director tonight, Mr. Eric Calligraphy, who allowed us to go into overtime. We got to give him a hand here. All right. Tomorrow night, we're joined by Sean Good. We're having a conversation, a very good conversation that I think everybody wants to tune in. And we're talking about men's mental health as we wrap up the month of June and Men's Mental Health Month. Until tomorrow at 9 p.m., peace.